Guru team, welcome back to Alessandria. Right, I think we have a lot to cover, so let's get stuck in. Quarries. Look at my quarries. So I've been doing a little bit of detailing. Well, to be fair, I've been doing a lot of detailing amongst other things. Um, I decided to figure out what to do with some of these quarries and what to do with some of this stuff, and a lot of it was essentially just making it larger, trying to in a certain way, trying to kind of copy what's already here, but over there. What would be great if we had these assets? If we had these little assets, they move. Oh, look at these little diggers go. They're steam shovels, I think. Um, yeah, it would be great if we had some of these assets because then they could like plonk a couple in there and it would look great. But anyway, using the same color palettes, using the same various other bits and pieces, and just making it sort of work as it were, which is fine. And then working to sort of like connect stuff where I think it should reasonably connected. So instead of connecting it to now what is a motorway, and we'll have a look at that in a minute, connect it over via these roads. This right angle is a bit clunky. Um, but there you go. No apologies. So yeah, and tidying up the stations and stuff. So making the station look the way it looks. Same with this. So you can see that this is a very square hole. So that is a very non-square hole, as it were. It's obviously got it's kind of like well, it's actually just one layer. It's got a lot of rocks around it, but like I did that over there. This is quite square. So this is obviously for whatever reason this is quite square. So I tried to follow that kind of squarish concept over here, and focus on again the same color palette, dirt and gray and everything. So did this one. So that's this oil sands. And then this is the silver one. The silver one is a lot smaller, a lot more compact. Pardon me. Very similar color palette to the stone, just a little bit different, just a little bit different. And going through and sorting that out and sorting out what is the station and the various bits and pieces and making that all finalized. So did all that. Zoom over here, didn't really do anything over here. This is oil sands, which is still going perfectly well. Fine, thank you. I detailed this a little bit, scruffed it up a bit around the edges, made it look a little bit worn. It was very green. I detailed this, so I brought this in, made it look a little bit more like it was kind of a bit used, but not too much. Kept it kind of organized. This one's kind of organized. One's got lots of covers. It's got a big factory nearby. I haven't really done anything with the factory per se. I'm still trying to figure out this bit of land. I could definitely figure something with. I'm just figuring it out. This one, which is fine. This one did a little, again, just to make it look a little bit lived in. Separate the colors from the green. Just the block green just looks very staid, you know. So just scruffy around the edges. Added in a few trees, brought the trees a little bit closer, made it feel like it's you know, in the woods. Kind of is, you know, like I've said, this Fangorn Forest thing, kind of encroaching on Castle Vecchio. I had to do a little bit of jiggery pokery over here. I had to add in another platform. There are just too many trains coming through here, too many trains coming through here, so I had to separate a few things out, which meant just separating the tracks out and then wheedling them back in together over here. We've got this, which I've dirtied up and scruffied up. I did this kind of like extra wide platform over here. It's not really worked out how I would hoped. I might come back and change it. To be fair, it looks a bit too big. It's almost as big as the factory. It should be full of goods, but it isn't. I don't think we're going to get enough goods coming out of here. This one, I've kind of expanded this whole forest in to fill this area. And again, it's just very simple on this one. It's a factory where they bring in timber and make some kind of tools. So I don't really think there's a lot going on here per se. It's just a little different color palette to make it look lived in, as it were. Nothing strange, startling, or significant. I had to go at really scruffing this up and making this one look dirty. This is what the oil one, the other oil one, I wanted to look like. There's so many barrels coming out of here that it stacks up way over here. And I think this looks great. All this outdoor storage, I think, looks fantastic. It really adds to the scale of the production. And that's why I feel like the extent of kind of like dirt around it and everything else. And again, trying to work with the fact that the color palette on this is essentially brown is the dirt color, but then bringing a couple of other stuff in. So we've got this happening, which is fine. What else did we do? What else did we do? What else did we do? Did we do anything down here? I think we just mussed it up a bit. And mussed up a few corners. That was already the way it was. I think we mussed this up at some point. I can't remember when. This is also mussed up a bit. We've got this little corner down here again. We've got the bricks mussed up. I think that's it. The coffee is fine. Oh, I kind of made this look a little bit more like it was just sidings in a farm, which is okay, which is fine. That's all right. And that's it. So did quite a bit of detailing. Oh, and I did my lake. I did my lake. This cost me a lot of money. I did my lake. Um, yeah, I'm not going to be doing anything more with this. It is so earthworks are so expensive. They are so expensive. So so I did my lake, and again I just kind of changed the color on this. There's not a lot I really think I can do with this one. Again, without any special assets, yeah, not much I can do. So, anywho, there you go. Maybe if we have a fishery down by the sea at some point, we'll try something else like making ponds or something. But I couldn't. This is how deep you have to go to hit water. So we're so deep. This could be like a massive old quarry or something. Really, to be fair, I mean, it could be a naturally occurring lake for whatever reason, but it looks probably more like an old quarry. Um, the marble quarry disappeared. I need to do something over here because the marble quarry disappeared. So I need to go in and probably change this and and change up the color palette a little bit and make this a little bit darker. It worked while the quarry was there. It doesn't work with just this here because this kind of sticks out as brown. So I'll need to monkey around with that a little bit and fix that up. Um, oh yeah, and I think I did this, didn't I? I just messed this up a bit. So there we go. Anyway, that's all of the detailing that went on. A few bits and pieces. Just wanting to finish wrapping up some of the detailing with some of the places that we now know will almost certainly be staying and aren't going away. So I've got this place to do something with, which I'm thinking about. I've got a little bit of mussing about to do out here. I think it's fine. I can probably just extend the fields down here. I think it probably makes sense. And I've got something to do with this. I think it probably needs to be made bigger. I just didn't want to do it because the amount of pain it is going to take to do it. And this, this is another one I've done. So following the same idea as the industrial complex up at the top, this train station has become a bit of a hub, and there's lots of cargo coming in here. So I kind of figured, you know what, that might be an invitation for other industries to move in. So I put out a grid of roads and I separated this out by itself with trees and things, so that this is like maybe this is undergoing development and getting a little bit larger. So this wedge here could be undergoing development. Um, just a thought, just a thought, just a thought. So a few things left to detail up from that perspective, and I haven't finished all the roundabouts, and I haven't. I think I've been around most of the little train dead areas. There's some little corners over here. This is not too bad actually. I kept that one kind of light. That's been done. That's been done. That's been done. That's not been done. Yeah. So there's a few places around the map where there hasn't been any detailing done on the train tracks. This little corner over there. Probably around there at the station, couple down here. So there's little bits and pieces that probably still need a little tweak of detail here or there, but ultimately a lot of the detailing around that is done. I might then concentrate on around the cities because I haven't really done anything around the cities because our experience from the park over here is that the cities will just keep expanding into any details that we make. So it then becomes kind of hard to detail around the cities because, yes, I can go in and make a park, and that's fine. I made this big park on the outskirts, but they're still building in it. Look at them. Look at them go. The detail stays underneath, but you know, it's like stop building in my park. So if I can figure out how to do that, that would be a win. Then I could have a little bit more faith in detailing around the cities because I don't want to detail around the cities and then lose it. These people are kind of encroaching on the detailing of my park. They've got their gazebo out there, literally in the back of the train station. I don't really want you there. Thank you very much. You. Yeah, no, I don't want you there. I don't want you there at all. No, thank you. No, thank you. So, in an effort to try and figure that out, I I went ra something is going on here in terms of things not saving properly now that I am fully cognizant of it. I changed these roads once already. Um, because remember I was saying about the difference between streets and country roads. So I went around and I changed all of the road around the cities into these country roads, but they keep changing back again. Now I don't know what's doing that because you can see the portions that I've done. So I think the game is actually changing my roads for some strange reason known to best to itself. I'm making these country roads and it changes it back to streets, which is very peculiar because I've been through and I've done all this already and now I'm having to do it again. I really don't know why. And just a little smidge down here. Anyway, the roads are one of the trickiest things I feel here in this game. So I've been down here now, and I have made this into a motorway. So I've had to go through and double line it. Now, probably just something to be aware of because obviously you want, a motorway is omnidirectional. So you've got one completely separate lane, as you can see from these arrows, going one way and one going the other. Now I'm hoping, and what I essentially want to do is this all of this exterior road that goes all the loop all the way around and around the cities. I want to change that to motorway. I'm hoping that by changing it to motorway, the towns won't build along the side of it. So I did it down here because I wanted to experiment, and there's not a lot of things for me to break down here. There was a bridge to do, but there's not a lot of things for me to break. And then what I want to do is I want to start the process of moving around the rest of the map and doing it. Now there's a couple of things. How it connects to a motorway is clunky. Obviously, um, with a system like this, you have to somehow figure out, if I show you, how you are going to get these to end. So you have this, and the snapping on roads is a bit clunky, but they do snap. And you have that. So how are you going to get these two to join together at the end? Right? If you do this kind of thing, just to do something a little bit crude, um, uh, you get one of those. So maybe you then think, well, what I'm going to do is I'm going to look at, I got 2 lanes one way and 2 lanes the other. I can do this kind of thing. I can do this kind of road. So you could have it meld together into a road. But it doesn't, it's not a fan of that. The game doesn't like doing that. So if you do that, that's all well and good, but then you run the you've got the problem that you might like it, but the game very definitely does not. So then how do you get these to join together? One of the simplest ways to do this is using a roundabout. There's a couple of benefits to that if we have a look at the traffic as well, is that you end up not getting a crazy junction and a whole lot of congestion. If you just had the, just going back to my 2 roads over here, if you decided that you were going to do this kind of a connection, just an entirely flat connection, um, what you get is you get a situation where you have this happening and then that happening. So you get this T, which looks okay-ish, but you have this crazy set of double traffic lights, which it looks a bit weird. I mean, it might work. There's places that I could see that might work. But one of the other ways to do it is roundabouts. You have the traffic feeding in, it feeds around the roundabout, and you get everybody going where they should be going, and hopefully giving way. And you have, despite some stuff happening, most people coming together. It's very interesting that we're starting to get congestion. I haven't really paid attention to a lot of the traffic. There's still not enough. I mean, it's not City Skylines level traffic, so you're just not getting enough. But it does look like there is traffic going on. So using the roundabout, you can then do this kind of swoop end kind of stuff, which is another City Skylines trick. So you separate the road into this diverging diamond. So you've got the traffic coming in on this side is not getting in the way of the traffic coming off. So the idea is there's probably very little here, but there's an awful lot of traffic that's coming off this main feeder, going up this way, and then the traffic coming down and then coming back in. The 2 minor roads, you're probably not going to expect an awful lot of traffic off. Don't know why that one has a bus lane on it. Boop. Right, there we go. So anyway, so I did that. Now then, the big nuisance with that, of course, is this is one way, and in City Skylines, you had a reverse direction tool, which is very, very handy because you then put down a road and you go, well, I'm going to go this way, and that's fine. And you go, oh no, I want to turn it around. So you go find the tool and you just click it and it flips the direction. We don't have such a tool here. So you have to do it in the direction, you have to build the road in the direction you want the traffic to go. So, I don't know. I'll see if there is a tool to do that, because we've only got tram, trike, bus lane, traffic light, player ownership, and in the actual build road menu, which is not that one, this one, you don't have that. Your tool has no direction. There's no direction here. I mean, it wouldn't be that hard, I imagine, to have a change direction tool on one-way roads. So, there you go. Anyway, roads. Challenging roads. So, I did that. We're going to do that. That is something that we are going to do. Now, before we have a look at the next thing, I just wanted to talk you through a bit of balance, because there's a lot of stuff going on. We've now got this guy manufacturing goods here, and the goods are being shipped over here, and they're being picked up at the train station, and they're being dropped off here. So we now have Civitella getting a little bit of everything. So Civitella is now growing fast because they're getting a little bit of everything, which is jolly good. Santa Caesarea, I haven't done yet the goods for them, or machines, but we can get that done. Castle Vecchio, I just need to get bricks and machines, and then they're done. and Uzano just needs goods. Pardon me. And then they're done. So we can start shipping out the needs, final needs for all of these places. But we still need to keep an eye on all of our vehicles. So one of the things I like to do here between these two is lines and vehicles, and set the sorting to balance and leave it at ascending. So then what we can do is we can have a look at what are the lines that are seriously out of balance, i.e., not making us an awful lot of money. And you can see here we've got a couple of these lines at the top which are in the millions. Not good to have stuff in the millions. We'll let it run a bit, because the other issue you have is where exactly in the supply you are. Because you'll see that Santa Sea just rocketed up to, and it's still rocketing up to like 7 million, etc., etc. We got a lot of trains running there. So Santa Sea oil is potentially posing us a little bit of a problem. Um, we need to see if it drops down, and it hasn't really. Oh, there it goes. It's dropped down a lot. So something to do with when the actual trains are recognizing their money. It's still kind of high. If it is, we can go over to the vehicles, do the same thing, put the vehicles on balance ascending, and we'll have a look and see which vehicles are causing us the most amount of trouble. So there's a Rizzo Steelworks vehicle. That's probably okay because he's probably just on a long run and they get a lot of money. If you're not sure, you can go to the vehicle and go to locate and see where he is. So where is he? He's just about to pull in. So it's showing 4.6 million, $5 million loss. So let's see what happens when he pulls in. Right? So back in the positive. So if we go back, we'll see that he has disappeared because he has gone into the positive, and we've got another Rizzo Steelworks truck which has come in. So he's now down here, way down here at the bottom, because he's made money, and we're back up here at the top. So these Rizzo Steelworks ones, because they're big trains and because they're going quite a distance without getting a payment, they rack up a very high negative balance until they get to the end, and then they get paid. Um, I believe as long as they get paid, that's fine. If you're not sure, again, you can go to the profitability of the vehicle and have a look at the profitability of the vehicle. So you can see here that the income on this vehicle is exceeding the running costs for every year, right? The running costs have gone up because we're using more expensive kit, because the cheaper kit isn't really available anymore. It can't really do the job for which we want it to do. So that's fine. That vehicle is making money. It isn't a problem, isn't a problem. If we go back to the line and we have a look at that was Rizzo Steelworks Supply line, and we have a look at that line's touch and go. So it's making profit every couple of years. Um, so it's possibly, it seems to be more up than down, but it's not one of our biggest winners. Right? So we can see here that it's not one of our biggest winners if we just have a look back here. Um, but when it does make a profit in the year, it's making, 20, what is that? 23, 24 million over costs of just under 20 million. So it's probably breaking even is how I would say by looking at that. I'd say it looks like it's breaking even. So we might want to have a look at how we might want to tweak that, but ultimately not really super sure. The other one we have here is the Santa Sea oil. So we've had a couple of Santa Sea oil trucks here at the top. Let's have a look at this one, for example. Now you can see they make plenty of money. So that vehicle made plenty of money. There's some years where it makes really, really good money, and some years where it just makes good money, but it's still making money, which is fine. Where is he in his route? So he's just about to drop off again. So it says minus 3 million, minus 3.4 million. Got a busy little station here. Um, he's going to go and drop off at the free platform. Let's see what he looks like money-wise. 937,000. It's not great. I would have liked that to be better. But there you go. I mean, it's nearly $1 million. He's going to pick up oil, and he's going to do another run. So let's speed this up. It's gone up again. Interesting. But he's going to also drop the oil off at the refinery. So he's got a double hit. So he's going to go back up here, back up past the motorway junction, which looks busy enough. And he's going to drop off here and also make money when he drops off. So he's going to... So 1.8, 1.5. Why are you not... There we go. Go a little bit more. So, yeah. So 1.8. So that's that. That was that guy who was giving me trouble. Let's go back up here, up to the top. And we'll go back to the line. So if we go back to Santa Sea Oil line, which is over here, and we have a look at this line. The line is doing fine. The line is doing fine. I mean, you can see here that it's making way more profit than it is costing. So I don't have any problem with that line. So although you have these individual vehicles, the Rizzo Steelworks vehicles and the Santa Sea Oil, which has disappeared, you can see a quick analysis and just a check on it says, hey, look, we're making money. You'll run into the negative, but you're gonna pull it back again. It's up and down, but the vehicles are successively making more money than they're costing, and the line is making more money than it's costing, so it's profitable. If you wanted to go back and change it and see if you could make it more profitable, that's fine. And I have done a bit of that. I have done a bit of that indeed. Why is this Civitella truck still running an electric train? That is an interesting one, because I was changing these electric trains. Both of these Civitella livestock lines are running electric trains, are they? Oh yes, I remember now, because I was having a look at this as whether it could make an awful lot of money. So having a look at this, so let's have a look at this one, because this one I'm not sure about. Civitella livestock. Where are you? Let's go and see. So this is the Civitella livestock line, and you can see here that it's one of our losers. So let's have a look at the line. Yeah, now look at that. That does not look good to me. You can see we have picked up a little bit of profitability, but this line is not making us money. This line is costing us money. We're transporting goods, which is fine, but this line is not making us money. We've got two vehicles on here. He's showing profit at the minute, but touch and go from 2007 on that one, and this one also touch and go from 2007. Now, the thing with this is perhaps twofold. So let's go and have a look over here. Perhaps twofold. So what was the purpose and what was the reason? Well, the original reason was that this was chocker with stuff, right? And we were shifting a load of stuff because we'd had a big backlog, and it was going to take us a while to clear that backlog. So what we did was we had a look at these trains and we said, well, would we use this electric train, which is a higher speed train, because it's a long distance to get from there all the way down here across the map and drop off over here. And we were looking at that. Is this the other one? Is this the other Civitella livestock train? It is. Right, so he's dropping off, so he's emptying out uh, yeah, there we go. So he's emptying out, but he's hit 1.6, so he's emptied out, which is grand. So we were looking at this and going, well, hey, is this worth it? So we've tried it. The answer is no. It's not worth it. It's not worth it. So what we need to do is we need to say, well, we have three of these trains. They cost a fair amount of money. It's actually better. In fact, where's the mediocre one? Train 29. Let's go back. Train 29. We need to go back to the vehicle. That's him there. Oh, he's coming in. Let him come in, because he's going to come in and offload, and then these two are going to be pretty close. And we'll go through how we're going to replace those to try and make a bit more money. I mean, we're still fine. Our earnings is still fine, but this is the thing you have to do, because your earnings can go red very quickly. And the larger and more expensive lines that you have, the faster it goes red, and the steeper the fall. So he's offloaded. Right, that's great. Let's have a look. So he is an electric train, and he's carrying these four big things. Now the electric train has disappeared. It is no longer available. But I think you remember it was 1.9 million maintenance a year off the top of your heads. And then this thing, which is 333 each. We got four of them. So that's another 1.2, 1.3. Let's call it 1.5. So 1.5 and 1.9, that's 3.4 million. So it's costing us 3.4 million to run this train per year. So that's just sucking up all our money. And are we really getting the benefit from that? And the answer is probably not. So it's an 80 capacity unit, 113 meters long. So we can probably replace these, which are expensive, with these, which will carry livestock. And we were at 80. This will do 90. That's probably, as you saw, that the place was empty. So 90 will probably be fine. It's a shorter train. Um, we're carrying more stuff, which is grand. We just have this big loco, and we probably don't need it. So the other loco that we've got up here, we've got the British Rail. Will the British Rail pull 4 or 5 at 120? Yeah, probably will. So this one's probably our cheapest. Without that, my next option would be this, the GE, probably. He's 11.3. This one's 11.1, but it only does 105. I tell you what, we'll put this on, just to prove my point, and we'll change that guy over. Now we've got the other one, which has just gone off this way. Same issue. So we'll go through and we'll do the same thing with this guy. So 80 capacity. So we'll go down here and we'll have a look at this. We've now got that at 90 capacity, and we'll stick on the diesel puller. Right, now I'm confident that they will make me way more money. So they'll still get 120 Ks. This line doesn't do 140 anywhere. We went through and we had a look at that. So this line doesn't do 140. So 120 will be fine. If we were doing 140, that might be a different story. So for example, this line over here, where they're doing 140, that's fine. That's I think the meat supply line. I think they're one of the only like speedy electric trains left. Let's have a look. So there's a lot of trains. Yeah, the Usano Santa C meets. Everything else has been changed out with either the diesel, the big diesel with the blue and yellow front, or the British Rail diesel, because the little British Rail diesel will maybe pull 4, 5 wagons, But once it gets a little bit longer than 4 or 5 wagons, it gets to be a problem. So you really need the other diesel, which has more grunt, to pull more. Um, it's touch and go with Civitella livestock, but I chose to use the big one. That's the last Civitella livestock. The Usano wheats. Um, I'm choosing to use the electric because it's near the city. I want to try and keep the emissions down. And they've always traditionally made quite a bit of money. So if we have a look at this vehicle, you can see, well, they're making enough. They're making enough to cover their costs, which is fine. In terms of the lines, which is the uh, what did I call it? Usano wheat. Need to go and find it. Usano wheat. Let's pause the time so I can actually find it without it jumping around the place. Oh, I'll just do it from here, shall I? That'll save me a whole lot of time. Making me money, making me money, making me not making me a bucket load of money, but it is making me money. So it is making me money, so that's fine. So it's a case of going through that and having a look and sort of just check and see where it is. Things often show as a negative until they get their goods paid off. So it can look bad, but then they quite often disappear back to the bottom again. So then check the profitability of the vehicle, check the profitability of the line, see what's going on. Is the condition of the vehicle good? Is the condition of the vehicle bad? Is there congestion? If you have a lot of congestion, because you know when you're picking up at a source and delivering to somewhere that requires it, you only get paid when you drop it off. So the longer your train is sitting in congestion somewhere and not getting to its source, it's not getting paid, and your profitability is calculated. Well, it's a running total, but it's displayed on all your charts, like in a kind of a per annum basis. The thing with these is when you have a look at them, if you have a look at this chart, the time scale at the bottom is a tricky sucker to read. Um, but what you can do is you can go down and you can individually um, walk through the different kinds of things. So you see here that what I'm looking at the top here, running costs, is running costs in September 2008, income in September 2008, running costs in June 2000. So it's calculating this per quarter. So if you're having a look at this, this is giving you the breakdown per quarter. So for the quarter of 2008, you could sit there and work it out if you wanted to. Income was 5.76, costs was 4.98. So we made money, um, whatever that is, 800,000. The next month, income was 5.6, costs was 4.7. So what's that? Pardon me. 1.2, 5.7, 4.6 in the next quarter, and then something went wrong in December. No income in December. Bit of a glitch went on in December. You can see that's happened a few times. 2007 it happened. So there's a little gap where we get no income, which seems to happen quite consistently, which is a little bit weird. It must just do with the timing of things. I don't know why it is. So yeah, so you can go down into that level of detail into the economics, and to a certain extent, you have to. You have to go into having a look at least, is your line making a profit? Is your vehicle making a profit? If your vehicles are all making profits, your line will make a profit. If your line is making a profit, that's fine, but there may be one or two vehicles on that line that aren't making you a profit for whatever reason, and you don't necessarily always have a line with all the same vehicles on it. I try and keep mine balanced so that I do, but the production might not work out like that. Um, entirely up to you. So don't be afraid to go through all of those things, because those are all of the things that you need to go through. And I knew that would take a little bit of time to get through, so it has. Um, what do we want to do? What do we want to do? Well, what I want to do is I want to go through and, like I said, I want to see if I can set up lines to deliver goods to the rest of the places that need to have goods delivered to, first. And then somewhere in all of this, I also want to see if I can turn this road all the way over here into a motorway. So I'm going to go on and do all of that because it's a bit of faff, and you know what it takes anyway. And as soon as I've got that done, I'll bring you back and we'll have a look at where we are. I'll see you soon. Right, Kira team, welcome back. Okay, well, I have done all of that. So the good news now is that I'll let just run at slow time. That everybody should be receiving at least one of every four of their needs. So everybody's getting a little bit of something, a little bit of something, a little bit of something. Is it all perfect? No. Is it all balanced? No. It's going to take a long time for me to balance all of this out. I've been having a look at it and been fiddling around with it, and there's certainly the next stage from here will be looking at how we optimize some of these things. We have a lot of trains, a lot of lines, and a lot of things going on, and a lot of trains crossing each other. And the question is, could some of these trains be doubling up on stuff? So I've already had a look at, you probably remember one of my larger, more expensive lines. He's not down here. I don't know where he is the Uzano meat supply line, which goes from here and runs all the way up, or not Uzano, Santa Cruz area, and all the way up here. Well, I've decided that what they're going to do is, because they have the correct type of wagon, is when they get here, they're going to pick up the food and take it down to the Civitella drop-off, and then they're going to loop back this way. So at least that cuts the time when they're traveling empty from all of this loop all the way down to just this section of rail from here to here, because they seem to consistently cost. They run at a cost quite a lot. They do make money, or at least break even, but we could do better. So that's the kind of things that we need to have a look at next, is that kind of stuff. So everybody's getting one of everything. That's going to start changing the demands for some things, specifically here with the machines, and specifically here with the goods, which then has a knock-on effect to the steel production, which has a knock-on effect to the quarries, and so on and so forth. So these are all the things that I need to keep an eye on. Bricks as well. I've already had to add in a second brick train, because the demand for bricks here at Castle Vecchio is so high that that the bricks factory is going bananas. It's their primary need here at Castle Vecchio. So we need to sort that out. Then we need to sort out various other things like, where are we dropping off? We're picking up materials from here, yes, okay, very well, and we're dropping them off somewhere in the city, but is everybody in the city who wants it getting it, as it were? So those are some of the things that I need to do, and it's going to take time. I started this, I think, 2001, it's now 2011, so it's taken 10 years, and a lot of that is fiddling. And on top of that, there's all the usual stuff. So you see that there's some bads in here now. So there's some things that I need to replace, mostly buses, to be fair. So we need to go in and do that, which is dandy-o. I suppose it's fine if I let this run at single. Now I did say I was going to do this motorway, and I have. So it's a bit janky, but it's not half as bad as I thought it would be. Do I need a little bit more practice with it? Yes, of course I do. There's a couple of things, but I managed to get this whole stretch. I had to put in this exit. There are actually no trucks running up here, but for the sake of the look of it, and also a bit of practice, I put in this exit. So this is the kind of exit that you need. I realized that this is actually the wrong way, that this being an inroad actually needs to be on this side, so it needs to come in this side and down, and this similar to this, so sort of a mirror image. So I'll need to fix that. Um, it went through the bridge pretty easily. I thought that was going to be problematic, but it wasn't. I've decided to make this a fairly significant cut. It was going up over the hills, as you recall, but I've decided to make it a little more cut and a little less hill. And then we run down here and we connect up to this roundabout fairly okay. So that's not too bad. And on that, I decided, you know what? What I'll do is I'll carry on and go all the way up here. And I did all the way up here to Uzanu. And in fact, around Uzanu. Now, the reason I did that was to see if these people, and this is living close to the motorway, if these people would not connect to a motorway. And so far, and it's been a while, it looks like they will not. I have this roundabout issue, but I think if we have a look at the roads and we go to the large highway, is this a highway? It is a highway. So for some strange reason, they're building on the side of a highway. So I can't change this. So that's not good because we don't want this. We don't want people building in roundabouts. The other thing is it wrecks my detailing because I detail the roundabout and then people go and build in it. So that's an interesting problem. I don't know why the game's doing that. And I'll need to have a little fiddle about and see if there's any way to stop it. But because you can see it kind of comes with streets. So I don't know if it's a highway, if it's this 3-lane, one-way road, which it says it is, and I have this selected, so it won't let me change it. Why is it got footpaths like a street? Because I think it's the footpaths that define um, whether you can build on it or not. So I need to have a look at that. I need to have a look at roundabouts. Are roundabouts not the best option then? And we need to come up with an alternative solution. Who can say? Who can say? So there you go. We've got everybody connected. Well, we haven't got everybody connected, sorry. We've got all goods going everywhere. I mean, one of the reasons I did this and one of the reasons I did this cut was I have said for some time, and I still haven't got around to it, is connecting up some kind of a passenger line um, along here. And I thought maybe I could wiggle it under this bridge somehow. I don't like the fact that there's not a lot of room here. So if we're coming up the side, which would be the preference, because we've already got train tracks that way. Um, but there's cargo lines and things. We can run parallel to this, but the problem is here. What do I do here? Because we've got this big junction anyway. It's stuff I'm thinking about. And then we can run a train up through the cut and up in here and bring in a train station somewhere in Civitella. Passenger train station, probably keep it on this side somewhere, and then we can run people in via bus, so we're not actually going into Civitella itself. Um, and then you could have another train station on the other side and running a high-speed line up here somewhere. And have a passenger station out here on the edge somewhere. Um, the game keeps changing my roads. I've changed these roads a number of times, and it keeps changing my roads into different kinds of roads. The whole roads thing is frankly a bit of a nuisance. So I need to be aware of that in the future. So yeah, so there's still some things I want to do in terms of connecting up, and I haven't been through and optimized the bus networks either. So we did talk about going through and optimizing bus networks, and that is something to do. So I will keep an eye on how the supplies and various things are going, and have a look at managing those for a little bit. Have a look at optimizing these bus routes, because that's probably what I need to have a look at doing. Um, I'll probably go through with you because I don't think I've shown you how you go through selecting cargo drops and cargo stations, etc. Inside the cities, and I'll have a think about how we can maybe get a high-speed line through to Civitella from Rizzo at least. Um, as I think that's the one to have a look at. And generally keep an eye on things. Finances wise, I think we're doing okay. So we're getting enough from the road, 8 or 9 million a year, which is covering our costs, which is great. The railroad is up and down and higgledy piggledy because of things that we are always doing. But it looks like we're substantially in the yes, yes, yes. The water side, we're actually making a bit of money from, which is a bit of a surprise. We've got a number of costs happening, which is fine. And the investments are the purchases, and there's been a lot of fiddling around with stuff. That ought to calm down now because we're now into probably mostly maintenance. We might add a train here or there, but the idea is to optimize, not increase. So that ought to be better. I don't know. Oh, that was vehicle sales. So that's okay. I mean, overall, I don't know. We're up and down all over the place. Um, I mean, you can see here. So we've generally been up, but the last few years has been a bit higgledy piggledy, higgledy piggledy. Um, so we're all over the place. The towns are generally on the up, so we're worth more than 1 billion, which is fine. So we're just going to keep an eye on various things like that. There have been a lot of costs, and it's now time to start sitting down and working on making a bit of money. In terms of my headquarters, I've moved. I've decided to move. I've purchased the entire coffee plantation because I do like coffee, and I now live on the edge of the coffee plantation next to the river, so I can watch the hovercraft go drifting by. So this is where my headquarters are. It's very grandiose, isn't it? I mean, um, I think this is as big as it gets. For some reason, my grass is in terrible condition, and I can't repaint it, so it looks a bit anemic, and don't really know why. Anyway, I'm living there on the edge of the coffee stuff. So I'm going to focus a little bit on economics for a little bit, and not on detailing. And see if I can add in a couple of little bits and pieces. But there we are. So we're into the home stretch here. From here on in, it's a case of we've connected everybody that needs to be connected to everything they need to be connected to. And I think there's this industry which is redundant down here, and there's this industry which is redundant down here, and I think there's one other industry lurking in the woods somewhere that we're not using, or maybe it disappeared. Oh no, it's over here. Another machines one. So there's a few industries lurking in the woods that we're currently not using. I'm not sure we're ever going to ever need them, um, but we never know. We'll see how the supply and demand goes because we wanted to kind of see just exactly how big we can get some of these cities. So we don't have anybody with 1,000 residents. Is Zano still the largest? 830 residents. 655. Yeah, as an interim goal, because we need to call it somewhere, uh, like I don't know, 1,000 residents in every city, every town, I guess, every city. They're cities. Look at these things, it's huge skyscrapers. Um, so yeah, let's take it from there. Anyway, Fewy. I do hope you like it. Do click the like. Do subscribe. Do feel free to add a comment or a thought or add a tip, a trick of or a recommendation of your own. And I will see you all again real soon. Ta-ta for now.